What's up, guys? Vecrin here, and I just want to talk about how things in the world are changing really quickly. And I'll just try to say it bluntly, but basically, the whole world is controlled by these royal families and billionaire, trillionaire families. And they basically own all the governments. And we can see how that slowly over time, things are getting more and more difficult things are getting worse over time because the powers that be, they're the ones instigating all the problems. They're causing all the wars. They're creating the inflation. They're the ones mass migrating different groups of people to different countries and in order to get the people to fight amongst each other. And they always want the people to fight amongst each other via the class wars, sex wars, race wars, like just nations versus nations, but it's all like an illusion because they basically own all the countries, and they set up America. They set up this whole system, this whole matrix where we feel like we have freedom and choice, but slowly over time things change so slowly that we don't notice. That's getting harder and harder to survive, and that we basically can choose hot dog, hamburger, Coke, and Pepsi, but public opinion has never dictated government policy. And it's like the pendulum swing. We vote one way, we vote left or right. The pendulum swings one way, and things get worse. They change some things for the better, but then they change things to get worse, like low key, and then it swings back over to this side. These guys are in power, and then they change things, and then it's for the better. They change things back, but then they fuck things over a bit. So it's always like they basically own both sides. They create this whole matrix, and we can see that basically it's just like the world is a giant Illuminati pyramid scheme, and this group of people have so many different names, like Freemasons, the secret societies, like the Rosicrucians, the Vatican, like the oligarchies, the banking cartel, the banking mafia, the Illuminati, right, the illuminated ones, the occult, the Satanists, the Kabbalists, whatever you want to call them, the elites, whatever you want to call them, but basically it's a group of people in power. And ever since the royal families saw, like these royal families came together and they said, hey, the peasants, they're gonna figure out that we're like ruling over them, so we have to work together and create a fake matrix. And these countries have always been, it's like they've always been pretending to be competing with one another, but they've been slowly changing government policies, laws, and regulations to slowly take away power from the people, and they cause situations that get the people, or they own all the news, right? So they use the news to feed us lies, and they keep us in a little bubble, and then they teach us in schools to hate, like to be suspect of other nations and like not trusting of other people, and then they're the ones who are flooding other countries with different immigrants, and they're like clashing with each other, and they're even burning down. They're the ones causing all the fires. They're burning down all the private lands and moving people into cities and preparing for Agenda 2030. So remember, all these countries are coming up. These governments are ignoring the people. They're trying to push they're going to push the digital ID, and it's a precursor to the mark of the beast system. But basically, what these elites are doing is that they're doing what they do because of what their beliefs, and they believe that, I'll just tell you the two major beliefs in reality, that you can believe either one, that everything is infinite, an infinite cycle of birth, life, death, and reincarnation, or you can believe in this, and also that good and evil are two sides of the same coin, and that everything in the universe, including you, is God, a fractal of God. Or you can believe in the second, that there are absolutes. There's an absolute good, there's an absolute evil, there's an absolute beginning of time, a beginning to time, and end of time, with a judgment for all our deeds recorded, and that God and man are separate, that we are just a creation, children of His. But I believe in the second, because I believe, after looking into many years, from my opinion, I'm not saying believe me, just go look into yourself. This pyramid scheme, that's a giant pyramid scheme that's controlled. It's a giant Illuminati pyramid scheme scam that's pretty much ran by the devil, and he's the one teaching these elites who are in power. Have you noticed that if you're evil, that you're lifted up? These evil people are always protected and get away. Ever since I was a boy, I would always wonder why this system is corrupt, because you can just pay money and bail yourself out. and all these evil people are always getting away because there's like a big cult and they protect each other because it's always been a networking cult because they believe they are the good guys because they believe they're trying to break the never-ending chain of reincarnation, and they believe that God is dualistic, that reality is dualistic, but it's not. They don't understand that it's not. So they're trying to blend all dualities and destroy this matrix, destroy this reality, so that they can escape and become gods. So they believe that they can do evil. They believe there are gods, so that they can kill someone. It doesn't really matter because they're just killing themselves. That everything's energy, and they can do evil and balance out their evil deeds with good deeds. And it's like all these religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, I'm saying that. All these like Hermeticism, they're all the same teaching basically. Like it's the belief that of monism, that it's a monistic type of belief that we believe that we are God, and also if it's deeper, it's a pantheistic because they believe that there are other gods, like polytheism. They believe that there are other gods, that God is a fake God that is keeping us in a matrix of energy recycling and experiencing. That evil and good are dualistic. That you have to accept evil because it's the same thing, right, as good. There's two sides of the same coin. But in my belief, I believe to reject evil, and I believe that basically this cult is everything's teaching the same thing, and that these elites, they control basically the news, right? They control, and they feed us media, movies, as I show on my channel, video games, all movies, video games, TV shows, literature, and music is the most deadly one because you're hearing it constantly and repeating the lyrics to yourself, the brainwashing. But they all teach the same belief, occult belief. And this giant pyramid scheme is like if you don't join them, you can't be lifted up in society. If you're against the grain, you're stomped out and you have to submit to the system because it's an evil system. It's an evil system. And it's a humanistic system that, they want to put man as God. They want to put man on the pillar of God. But I know man's love is limited. I've walked this earth and I've never, for 35 years, never met anyone who loved me unconditionally. But until I met God, until I had a relationship with God. He is the truth, the way, and the life, and he came here in human form to die for you and me. So he literally, he died for you and me. So this cult, basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a one world system because they want to destroy the old world so that they can rebuild their new world. So they're trying to essentially instigate a collapse in society, a revolution of mankind, a civil war of society, so that we can overthrow the corrupt system, the corrupt government, and we can finally have our new free one world system. It's going to be a one world, one religion, one government, one world system, one cryptocurrency, one central CBDC, central banking digital currency. But they're first going to make everyone used to using them. So they're going to set up the digital ID, which is the precursor to the mark of the beast, which the Bible always predicted. And it's so funny. Thousands of years ago, and the Bible is still predicting things, and the King James Version is the purest Bible. But anyway, so you have two choices in life, and basically this is what I'm seeing, that we can see that these governments are networking and slowly trying to bind humanity, and they're gonna act like, they believe they can sacrifice the few for the many, and they're gonna use that excuse that they're trying to do this for the betterment of mankind, but they're actually gonna control. It's all about control. They're gonna bind humanity, and there's only gonna be a few of this not so hidden ruling class that will rule over us as gods, and they're gonna keep pushing their goal is to actually merge man with machine. They want to destroy this construct of, they believe that God is dualistic. They believe God is a God of above, a God of below, and they want to blend everything. That's why you see they want to blend moralities, they want to blend nations, they want to blend the races, they want to blend the sexes. That's why you see this transgender, and then transhumanism is the next step after transgenderism. But they're trying to blend everything into one because they believe they are one. But it's all about control. Because, like, example, I just want to say something else, that you can tell who is part of this cult from the signs and symbols, from the hand signs they use. If they use the 666 hand sign, or they cover one eye, or they do the shush over their mouth, indicating they're oath keepers, keeping secrets. All these people, I won't do them because I don't want to be affiliated with them. I don't want people to think I'm part of them, but these people, you can tell from the hand sign, the symbols, signs and symbols, and who they're associated with and who they support. And even if you go into any royal family's castle, estate, or mansion, if you look on the floor, there's going to be a black and white checkerboard, symbolizing their same belief of dualism. But this reality is not based off duality. As I talked about before, like, cold is an absence of heat. So it's missing energy. So it's lacking something. So it's not the opposite of energy. So nothing is the opposite of energy. So how about light? Light is like a particle. Light is something. It's actually a pervertation. It's a wave in the ether. It's a disturbance in the ether, but basically, it's something. Darkness is nothing. Hate is the absence of God in you. God is love. God is inside of you. You care about other people. You see people who have no God in them. They hate. People who hate God, they love death. And people who hate God will hate me. And people who hate God, they're cold. But also, I want to say that this group that controls the world, it's like it has to be done. It has to happen this way, because man has to. If everything was perfect and good all the time, and everything was fun, then if everything was up here and we didn't know the tough times, then this would be boring. So we had to fall, we had to suffer, and we have to go through sorrow, because we need to know the bad times to experience the good times and see how, you know what I mean? So basically, look at Adam and Eve. It was like a test, and we were destined to fail. Any human that would have taken their place would have went through the same thing. Eventually, after 100 years of living in the Garden of Eden, they got tempted because they were curious. And that's how God works. He is perfect, and He always gave man the choice. And that He knew we would always fail and go through this whole thing, because that's how this is what life's about. It's about going through the trials, going through the fire, choosing to do good over evil, because doing evil is easy, right? Being evil and being a sellout and I could have been rich and famous a long time ago, right? But I chose to walk the harder path and just because that's how I was programmed, right? Because God sent me here for a reason, right? But our destiny here is to choose good or evil and not be a sellout, not sell out to this cult. Even though I believe a select few of these, they are probably like Jewish people, Zionist people. I don't know exactly what, but it's a group of these people that are at the top of this pyramid that teach this whole philosophy. And basically they're controlled by the devil, but they believe that. Like, they're supposed to, I believe God put them there because they're supposed to manage the sin system. But we're not supposed to join them. We're supposed to just choose God, to know Him, and to have a relationship with Him through Jesus Christ. That's what I believe. But basically, example, if you snap your fingers and you could wipe out all these people at the top, other people underneath them would replace them and take their place, because it's a spiritual battle. But you have to choose through life and not be a sellout, not be a sellout for money, for fame, for sex, to satisfy the flesh, right? Because this is the fake life. This life is a fake reality. It's a fake reality. It's an illusion. The real reality is going to be amazing. The real eternity, the real forever the real life is going to be starting after this one. And yeah, basically that's why we can't kill, right? Because it's up to God to judge these people, not us. They're following the devil, and they think everything in reverse. So they think the devil, Satan, is the one who gave birth to duality and freed man and gave them the right to choose to do good or evil. But and he's the yeah. But basically, it's all a deception. Also, one thing I want to last thing I want to add is that from monitoring this group of people who control the world and seeing how the world's changing through their actions, they're so well coordinated that it can't be that they're just literally like, yo, do the thing now. Like, it's basically they're communicating energetically. It's a spiritual thing because evil is controlling them. So you have to choose to get close to God. And like me, I didn't get the vax, and I was taken care of by God. And I'm just gonna say, God, I don't want to take this digital ID, and I'm gonna ask you to help me find a way to live without it. Yeah, I'm not telling anyone how to live, but that's how I'm gonna live. Hey guys, God bless you and your families. Peace.